It's WrestleMania season, and you know what that means. 2K Sports have just tweeted out that during this weekend's WrestleMania 37, they will be making a special announcement for the upcoming WWE 2K22 game. This has fans wondering if a new trailer is on the way, which stands to reason. WrestleMania is the biggest show of the pro wrestling year, the Super Bowl of people who pretend to fight in tights, and the millions of people around the world who watch them, myself included. But what can we expect from WWE 2K22? 2K22 could be the most important game of the entire WWE 2K series. Coming off of WWE 2K20, which received such a negative reaction that it caused the entire series to shut down for 2 years. But, as bad as WWE 2K20 was, and believe us, 2K20 was terrible and embarrassing, one of the worst video games of the previous generation, and possibly one of the worst of all time. Everything that we know about the upcoming WWE 2K effort actually seems to be pretty encouraging. So, let's enter the speculation station and talk about WWE 2K22, what we want, what we already know, and the things we've been longing to hear like the salivating dogs that we are. On May 29, 2020, new WWE 2K executive producer Patrick Gilmore did a Reddit AMA where he spoke about his background in gaming, his love for WWE and pro wrestling, and his overall vision for the future of the WWE 2K series. Gilmore repeatedly referred to 6 key areas of development that he and his team are focusing on. Those areas are 1. Core gameplay, making the superstar versus superstar gameplay the best it's ever been. 2. Emergence, which is leveraging physics and more generic object or environment systems to enable spectacular gameplay that players feel in control of. 3. WWE experience, delivering an end-to-end true WWE experience in all aspects of the game, from user interface and wrapper to superstars, match types, and story modes. Number 4, online, improving all aspects of the online experience. Number 5, character, making the best looking superstars of all time. And number 6, creation, upgrade the creation suite and make the community creation tools feel like magic to use. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack there, so we thought it might be best to briefly go through each one of those 6 ideas and what they might mean for WWE 2K22. Let's start with character, making the best looking superstars of all time. Judging by how much work went into making NBA 2K21 look great on next-gen systems, it really feels like 2K are going to come out strong graphically here. Part of the reason why WWE 2K20 was so widely panned was that a lot of it looked like a PS2 game, especially the story mode. To me personally, graphics are almost meaningless. I love fire pro wrestling with all of my heart. Graphics are not my biggest concern, but I think NBA 2K21 set the bar pretty high. The upcoming WWE game will have a lot to live up to graphically. This brings us to create. Upgrade the creation suite and make our community creation tools feel like magic to use. Honestly, I don't think WWE 2K has a long way to go here. 2K's wrestler creation modes have been among the best in all of gaming for years. I feel like the focus will be more on making the creation tools feel like, quote, magic to use, because the depth of WWE's creation suite does not need much upgrading. For years now, users have been able to create impressive, detailed wrestlers. I am glad this is a pillar of focus, but of all the 6 pillars, this is the one that needs the least amount of work. They're already there, for the most part. It could probably stand to be more intuitive. Let's move on to online, improving all aspects of the online experience. It might surprise you to find this out, but WWE 2K's online experience was also hated and disparaged. Fans found WWE's previous online mode to be severely laggy, full of random game-breaking glitches. DLC would not appear, custom logos or hairstyles wouldn't appear, and of course, players would have to deal with insufferable move spam. Which, to be fair, might just be a thing you have to deal with forever if you're playing a wrestling game online, but this one was particularly broken. So, according to Gilmore himself, quote, "We're going to improve in match quality and parity with exhibition. We will be working on online for the entire duration of the project and focusing on match polish, desyncs, lag time, matchmaking speed, and a host of other things that affect the quality of the online experience." WWE 2K20 was a bad game, a broken game, and the online portion was arguably the worst and most broken portion of it. So it is encouraging to hear that a lot of work has gone into this. Emergence, leveraging physics and generic object and environment systems to enable spectacular gameplay. I never thought I'd say these words, but WWE could really learn a thing or two from M. Dickey, the one-man video game development company responsible for Wrestling Empire on Nintendo Switch. Wrestling Empire is an objectively atrocious game, but it did try a few things which actually are pretty cool additions to the wrestling game oeuvre. The way wrestlers can pop in and out of moves and interact with nearby weapons in Wrestling Empire is really unique to that game, and while it's quite sloppy, a more polished version of this approach could benefit 2K Sports. Not just WWE either. How fun would it be to powerbomb Grayson Allen through a table? The fifth of 6 pillars was WWE Experience, delivering an end-to-end true WWE experience in all aspects of the game. This one is tough, because there hasn't really been much to draw from over the last 365 days. Nobody wants to see 2K Sports' take on pandemic wrestling. We want huge crowds, loud, interactive arenas, and of course, backstage areas where you can slam a man through a pool table. We want WrestleMania 3 or WrestleMania X7, not WrestleMania 36 or 37. No offense to the performers who have gotten WWE through this pandemic. WWE often looks to the past, and WWE 2K often looks to the past to build entire game modes around a specific time period or feud in wrestling history. Now more than ever, a look back into the history of wrestling would serve WWE 2K well. And finally, the 6th pillar, core gameplay, making the superstar versus superstar gameplay the best it's ever been. 2K Sports have made it clear that gamers should expect a significant evolution in gameplay. And conceptually, it seems like 2K has some pretty big ideas. Here are a few more quotes from executive producer Patrick Gilmore. Quote, "New players should be able to accidentally pull off awesome moves just by playing with and experimenting with controls. We're trying to get away from user interface pop-ups or mini-games to represent things like pins or reversals, and instead move those concepts into more fully realized mechanics, which feel like extensions of the main experience." And perhaps most importantly, quote, "Depth doesn't come from the manual skill of pressing the proper buttons, but from the psychological game of anticipating and countering your opponent's strategy." Huh. Well, that's a debatable point, but one thing is for sure. It really genuinely does seem like a lot of work is going into WWE 2K22. Do you think that there's an area WWE 2K needs to focus on? Do you just want to yell GM mode at me in all caps? Or hey, are you excited for WWE 2K22? Or for WrestleMania 37? Or by the time you watch this, maybe SummerSlam 2036. Well, feel free to reach out to us in the comment section below, over at the Operation Sports forums, or on Twitter at Operation Sports. And if you like me, well, my name is Matthew Ederer, and I host the NXT Talk podcast every Wednesday morning on Patreon with my good buddy Boris Aguilar for Sunday night's Main Event Radio. So check that out if you're a big wrestling fan, as Boris and I will have podcasts breaking down every match of both nights of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, going into NXT's switch to Tuesday nights, and cowardly white flag waving in the Wednesday Night War. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's probably for the best for all of the wrestling business that the Wednesday Night Wars are over. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Stay safe out there. To the moon.